Welcome to Noonlit Sage Astrology. This is your Gemini 2025 season forecast energetically. So we are going to be looking over some of the more important aspects and transits in this Gemini season according to my zodiac calendar, which you can find on noonlitsage.com if you're curious. Now, for those who have this calendar, this video will help explain and help you understand what these symbols and the transits are on the zodiac calendar so you can know how to align and plan for the month ahead. So the Gemini season this year will be from May 20th to June 20th. We start off on the 23rd of May with Venus Aries trine Mars in Leo. So first of all, Venus is our feminine, Mars is our masculine. And when they're trining, this is a synergistic energy. Between Aries and Leo, this is also both fire signs. So this day is truly a day of wholeness, I would say. There's a lot of work we've been doing with this Venus Aries energy for the last few months with the retrograde and then it going direct to become this new version of ourselves that is no longer afraid to be ourselves, no longer afraid to take action on our goals and who we really want to be and how we want to live our lives. Now with Mars and Leo, this is also a push towards being more creative, but putting ourselves in the spotlight a bit more so that we can guide and influence others with our creativity, with our knowledge, with our hearts, basically. And so with Aries and Leo together, it's just like this continual energy where Aries doesn't get burnt out because Leo is really supporting it and staying consistent. And so with Venus and Mars as well, trining, this is a nice flow between the receiving and the taking action, receiving and taking action between the feminine and the masculine. So I really like this transit on the 23rd of May. The next day on Saturday, May 24th, we will have Mercury and Uranus in Taurus conjunct. So when they're together, there's a sense of Mercury being the thoughts, the mindset, and Uranus being how we're going to be unique and different. And in Taurus, this has been a very long transit of Uranus and Taurus, helping us to reassess our connection to the divine feminine, the Venusian energy that guides this planet and Earth, and how we can restore our bodies and nourish our bodies as well. So I would say today's going to be maybe some new thoughts, new ideas on how to do that. As well, on that 24th of May, we have Sun in Gemini trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. These are two energies, just like the day before with the trine. There's a flow, there's a synergy between us expressing. During this Gemini season, we want to express our thoughts openly, knowing that we're doing so from a place of inner validation, meaning I don't need you to agree with me. It's okay to have a disagreement and different points of view, and I'm not going to get triggered. I'm not going to get activated. I'll just let it be. I'll say my piece, you'll say your piece. But with the trine to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, I see this as there's a sense of you're truly discovering some new opportunities, new people to be around, to connect to think with, to have conversations with. And so there might be some transformation happening because the sun's going to illuminate that. Maybe you're sharing and expressing something and then out of nowhere, you have a new connection perhaps. So I like this energy as well on the 24th. The next day, Sunday, May 25th, we have Saturn ingressing into Aries. Another big moment because Saturn has been in Pisces for a while now. And Saturn will usually be in a zodiac sign for about 2.5 years. And even though Saturn in Aries is starting on this 25th, it will last for a little while, but then it'll go retrograding back into Pisces again later in the year. But we're still getting this fresh taste of this energy. So Saturn in Aries, there's a restriction, there's a lesson to it. And Aries is, of course, that bold, taking action, having courage, really never giving up. So with Saturn in Aries, there might be a sense of actually we're going to take a step back a little bit. We might need to reassess, think before we act, perhaps, or maybe there might be some fears that we need to work through. If on the other hand, your Aries energy has been too big, too loud, too forceful, this Saturn Aries energy will actually be very nice because it will tone it down a little likely for all of us and say, okay, we can't be too harsh. We can't be too much of this like burning energy when it comes to us being passionate, because remember, Aries is very passionate. So either if you're not in that aligned Aries energy, you might really not feel the fuel, you might not feel the fire to go do the things. And so there'll be a time of reassessment and learning those lessons to get more disciplined in taking a consistent sense of action and not giving up. And or if you're too expressed in the Aries energy, it's going to tone it down so that you could stay energetically cruising, right? Not burning yourself out because you've overly expressed your fire. So this is going to be the start of that day and that transit. The next day we have new moon in Gemini. New moons are a time for beginnings and setting intentions and reflecting on what hasn't been in alignment perhaps. And of course, like I mentioned just a little bit ago, Gemini energy is all about balanced self-expression and learning new insights, new perspectives. If you're open, great. It's a new moon. It's just going to amplify that energy. But if you've been holding back, this is a time to reframe. Why are you doing that? Why aren't you open enough? Why are you needing validation perhaps from others? Why are you people pleasing maybe a little bit? And or if you are overly expressing that Gemini energy and you are, saying too much all the time and talking without stopping and not letting other perspectives be received by you, this is a time to maybe do some reflection on that and set some new intentions to receive more balanced energy. The same day as this new moon, we have Mercury ingressing into Gemini as well. So Mercury is really happy to be in Gemini. It's the rulership of it. And this will be a really great time in Gemini season then so that we can make new connections, make conversations, and really get to know ourselves more deeply and deepen our self-awareness as well. On that Thursday, Sun and Mercury will conjunct in Gemini. And so whenever this happens, it's a cazimi, what we call it. And there's just a really fantastic illumination to our energy of the mind, our understanding of things. And so this is a really good day, really good energy. Overall, this week, the 25th through the 31st, is going to be really nice, in my opinion. A lot of masculine expression, a lot of talkative energy, fun energy, probably humor and laughing, lighting up the spirit. So then we have June 1st. This is Venus conjunct Chiron in Aries. Chiron is that wounded healer. It is that sense of really healing the fears we have to take a courageous leap forward. And with Venus conjunct Chiron, Venus is a receiver, it is loving. So I expect here to be something that will help us heal collectively in that sense of you are kind of right to be who you are and take that courageous leap, and you'll receive abundance from doing so. So whenever I see Venus with Chiron in that conjunction, I just see it as an opportunity for deep healing to occur, as Venus wants to offer loving energy. Later in the week, on June 6th, we have Venus in Taurus. Venus in Taurus, this is again another fantastic placement because Taurus is ruled by Venus. So this is going to be a time to still slow down and really nourish ourselves. We felt that previously in Taurus season, but this is actually interesting where the Taurus energy is going to continue on because Venus will now be in Taurus in Gemini season as well, and for a little while. So a time to really connect to the body, connect to our sense of deserving, worthiness, how much energy we're putting in and how much energy we're putting out. How much time do we take to restore, slow down, be present, be grateful, all those things, focusing on really good nutrition, cooking those amazing meals like Taurus loves, and really honoring the self and treating the self. Now, if you treat yourself too much and you're excess in that, this is a time to really make sure that we're not overdoing it in the consumption area, meaning whether that's food, material things. We want to stay balanced. Whatever it is, we always want to stay back to balance. So this will be a time for making sure that we can do that. On June 8th, we have Mercury ingressing into Cancer. Mercury quickly changes signs, so we see this two signs in one season. And Mercury in Cancer is going to be a time to emotionally attune to those around us. This is a time now when instead of just, oh, well, I know this and I know that, we're going to be speaking in ways of allowing ourselves to express our feelings more and our vulnerabilities. Now, the next day is another big moment where we have Jupiter ingressing into Cancer. It's changing the energy completely for what is expanding in our lives collectively. The last year from this point, it was Jupiter in Gemini. Now with Jupiter in Cancer, this is even going to expand further our abilities to connect emotionally. With Cancer, the energy is all about attuning and disconnecting in a secure way. If you know about the attachment styles, the overbalanced energy, the overexpressed energy rather, in Cancer is an anxious attachment style where we're clinging to people, clinging and hoping for and wishing that they affirm our loving connection more often than not, because if the energy isn't present, if we're not connecting 24/7, there might be a sense in that overexpressed Cancer that it might not be that they love us, but of course it's true. It's just a program and a mindset that perhaps stems from early on in our youth. Now, the underexpressed version of Cancer is avoidant attachment. This is where you're not going to really want to connect, be vulnerable, or express your feelings as much. You're going to probably suppress feelings. You're going to want to avoid them because they might be telling you something that you don't know how to handle. If you're overwhelmed because you've never really been in tune with the feelings and expressing them freely, Jupiter in Cancer is going to be a time when that will be more obvious than not, and it might be a time to do some healing around that. So with Mercury going into Cancer the day before, Jupiter going into Cancer the next day on the 8th and the 9th, we're in emotional territory here. This is a time to connect with others because in that co-creation, we get to sense how secure we are in our attachments or not. That same day, Venus in Taurus will square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Venus in Taurus, squaring Pluto Aquarius will be similar to when the Sun in Taurus squared Pluto Aquarius. This is that material world, the body, I just want to be here, I want to be present, I want to take things slower versus let's talk, let's think, let's move fast-paced into the future. And so wanting to be here, but Aquarius wanting to be there, we have to balance those two. And there's probably going to be some transformation here if we can align with that and balance those energies out, perhaps even in our love lives and our commitments, the investments we make. I'm really curious to see maybe some stuff with financial matters and investments, whether that was in an authentic way or not. So remember, when we're integrating these squares and oppositions, we want to make sure that we're taking a bit of both energies. So with Pluto in Aquarius, this is a time to say, how authentic am I being? How authentic am I in my community? And so am I investing in the right people? That will be the question. This little tension leads up to the 11th of June with the full moon in Sagittarius. The Sagittarius full moon will be opposite Sun in Gemini. And because Gemini is all about the details, the mind, it's a more narrow focused. Sagittarius energy is broad. It wants to live life and understand the experience from that lived experience instead of just reading about it in a book. So wherever you're limiting yourself within your mindset, this full moon is probably going to enlighten you into like how you need to break through those limiting beliefs and get yourself living a bigger, expanded life. So that week will probably be a bit interesting as a major energetic shift is going to happen early in the week. Then we'll have the full moon in the middle of the week. Definitely take some time to go explore or go do something new and exciting for yourself. The last week of Gemini season, we have a lot of tension still happening on the 15th of June. Mars in Leo will square Uranus in Taurus. When Mars squares Uranus, there is a bit of a battle going on because Mars is this driving, ambitious, masculine energy, and Uranus is unstable a bit and it's electric in nature. There might be something, I don't know where that happens, like a tension bubble bursting between what our heart desires and where we're at currently, how much we're putting ourselves out there, how much we're validating ourselves on a personal level. Collectively, we could see maybe some leadership stuff happening where there's some tension. So just something to watch out for. And then the other important aspects to be aware of that day is Saturn and Neptune in Aries conjunct both squaring Jupiter in Cancer. So anytime you're going to see Aries squaring Cancer this year, upcoming year, because Jupiter's in Cancer, we'll see this often occurring. First of all, Aries is all independent here, right? So that's one thing. And then Cancer is co-creative. So that in itself is a different kind of tension and point of tension. With Saturn and Neptune in Aries, there's that sense of retraction a bit, but also wanting to explore and have the dreams come to fruition with the Aries and not being afraid of it. But in this square with Jupiter Cancer, maybe our relationship and our emotions are holding us back from really taking that step forward. The way to integrate this energy then on the 15th will be to really sit with your feelings, be vulnerable, and then understand and listen to them, maybe even within a partnership. What is the feeling asking of you? And letting Aries then move forward, taking action on it instead of just sitting in the feelings. So anytime there's a square, you might just be in one energy or the other energy. So definitely fire versus feminine energies here on this day. On the 17th of June, we have Mars ingressing into Virgo. This is problem-solving energy, guys. So with Mars being in Leo for a while, the tension really coming to a high point. Now there's a little bit of ease because it's no longer showy. It's no longer, I need to be in the spotlight. Virgo's more modest, and we can actually move forward and just rearranging our lives the way we need to. I think there's going to be some clarity that happens on that Sunday, on that weekend. And then as Mars goes into Virgo, we'll be able to take action in a manner to really clean up a little bit of whatever fallout happened. So as the week goes in that last week of Gemini season, I think the energies will be definitely lessening. There'll be less tension overall. So a bit of an up and down Gemini season in 2025. Not unusual. Gemini's here and there. It's very mutable. There's a shift overall that's happening. So this month will be similar to a few months back during Pisces season when we felt a lot of those shifts as well and preparing for a new chapter. This Gemini season closes out the first three energies of cardinal Aries, fixed Taurus, and mutable Gemini, starting again with this new cycle in the next season of Cancer season. I am so excited to get into that with you in the next video for the Cancer season forecast. Again, if you want to check out the zodiac calendar, you can do so at noonlitsage.com for more information and to follow along and track your energy cycles and what all is happening while the collective energies are at it. Again, thank you for joining me for this energy forecast for Gemini, and I'll see you in the next one.